it's working. Good morning. And yes, I need help with my dry skin. It's getting out of control. It's like I could just put my face in a bucket of oil all day to soothe it. It's so dry. So send help. Let me know in the comments whatever tricks you use to keep the skin moist, because I am having difficulty maintaining moisture these days. I'm like all cracked out on my face by the end of the day, feeling like a reptile. And quite frankly, I want to bring this prune back into a grape state. You know what I mean? Where it's plush and lovely. So winter is definitely upon us, which is so interesting because here in Vancouver there's a lot of rain, so sometimes we forget that fall can still be drying, but oh, my body's letting me know it's really drying. So if you do have comments or assistance for your favorite facial lubricants, shall we say, please let me know. I'm open to help. Okay, so morning meditation, we're going to get into it pretty quick, and we will do a card pull at the end. Lately, I am experiencing crazy stories that my mind is drawing up, which I'm not sure if any of you have ever experienced. This is something that I used to do in my childhood, and one of my favorite aspects about meditating is simply the ability to observe. In my journey to gaining more self-knowledge, kind of waking up a little bit more of my unconscious self and bringing it forward into consciousness, kind of started severely around 2014. And I really used to make up stories, and I've worked with a professional about that. And it's just interesting in meditation because you're all by yourself, and one of the things that I think is so wonderful to observe is where do we go? Where do we go when we decide we're going to just sit quietly by ourselves? And there's almost an oxymoron in itself. We're sitting quietly. There might not be any distractions around, but it is like, it can be so loud in there. You know what I mean? And today, when we sit, just employ any skill that you might have in terms of anchoring, whether it's through the body, through the breath, maybe you have a mantra that you like, or just allowing yourself to connect with sound through the hearing door. And just watch the movement of your mind. There's 3 things that I have always cycled back to whenever I'm working with myself and exploring myself, and whether that's through meditation or movement or with a professional. And it's always been be curious, be observant, and be kind. Because curiosity, I think, is wonderful. Be curious, explore, allow it to take you places that you wouldn't without. That's the gift of curiosity, is it kind of brings forth a sense of adventure and seeking and many other great things that we don't know are going to come from it at the time that we start our adventure. So curiosity is a wonderful quality to carry. And observation, just noticing what you find, just panning back a little bit and noticing the things you find without digging right away necessarily, just watching, because there's so much that we can gain just from watching ourselves, the world around us, other people, our habits, so on and so forth. So the observation skill is something that is really great and supportive to build for yourself, especially when you're sitting in quiet meditation. And then, of course, kindness, because quite frankly, you might discover some things about yourself that you feel a little judgy about. Or you might discover some things that are not so great. We all have aspects of our subconscious that, when they're revealed, might make our face be a little cringy, because it's not it's not coming necessarily from our authentic self, from our highest self, from our soul self. It's coming from things that the ego has attached to. It's coming from our humanness, our personality that's developed by coping and responding to the environment. And it's not an excuse for poor behavior or ill will or anything like that, but it is more of the truth of what that is. And so when we are observing these different aspects of the I am, the who we are, make sure that you have a lot of compassion and kindness for yourself, that you just bring that care with the curiosity and the observation, because it's not going to be worth it to be curious, observe, and then sit in judgment and criticism the whole time. We don't need that. We do that too naturally on our own, and we have the illusion, or maybe we live in a reality where people are criticizing and judging us all the time. So that's enough. We don't need that any more than we already have it. Just kindness to the best of our ability. All right, let's go. Let's see where we go. So coming into a position that is comfortable for you, and again, just to remind you, if you need to be sitting in a chair or you need to have blocks, sometimes when I come down in the morning, I have 2 4-inch blocks, and they go right under my knees, and my knees are almost up to my armpits, because, the limitations of our body sometimes are what dominates our experience of the world. So any position that you can be in, preferably not lying down, but sometimes it's what we can do, and that's good enough. And then just take a big clearing breath. One where you notice it pressing from the inside. You may notice it move your body, it's so deep. Just take a couple of those until you notice that you arrive at a place that is just subtly different. Possibly more awake, possibly more present, possibly more connected to your inner strength. There can be a dullness sometimes when we wake up. We're in the Ayurvedic world, we're in a more kaphic energy, a more tamasic space, which is heavy, dark, dense, essentially moving towards inertia. So when we wake up, we're trying to move against that energy, especially at this time of day. And just starting to notice where your body settled. Where your hands found comfort. Allowing the shoulders to drop, the chin to float back a little so the back of your neck releases. Take another deep clearing breath. Noticing the area that your sit bones are making contact with. Enjoying the illusion of security beneath you. Steadiness in the non-movement. Continue to take breaths that are a little bit grander, a little bit more energized than you normally would. Tuning into the felt sense that your body can experience. Sensing the subtle changes. Tuning to the frequencies that abide within you. And shift your awareness to the length in the backside of your neck. With every breath, allowing there to be a little bit more space. As you take another inhale breath, allowing the awareness to travel up the back of your neck, the back of your head, all the way to the crown. And when you get to the crown center, see if you can notice a subtle upward pull. Space of energy that travels from the physical body into a few feet above your head. Just noticing the breath settle. Letting the felt sense of the body present to you. And you just observe. Maybe from your heart you offer a small prayer. Maybe a prayer of gratitude or need. It's okay to ask for what you need. Or even just to express fears or doubts. Breathe into your heart as you connect. You shift your awareness back to the length of your neck and follow it up to the crown of your head. Becoming aware of any sensations arising from the crown of your head and reaching upward and beyond. Like a magnetic pull. As you settle in deeper, remember the power of choosing your awareness. So that if the mind gets busy and drifts off, notice and make the choice that suits you best. Coming back to a tool of anchoring. Or continuing to be fully present with your observations. Continue to focus on the awareness that is arising, be it subtle or grand. From your internal voice, taking a breath deep into the body cavity and the heart, and allowing the words, heart, show me what I need to understand, mutter from within. And without searching with the mind, just return back to the awareness and the breath. Heart, show me what I need to understand. Card pull today is Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Akasha exists in the fifth dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts, history, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We each have access to this information of the past, present, and future, and can tap into it at any time. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned, soul contracts or agreements that you made before incarnating. It could be a company you guided. Of all the souls, so perhaps you already started channeling some of the work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. Hold this card to your heart and say, I call upon consciousness of the highest realms and the highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel for only the purest light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. That's it for today, you guys. Thank you for joining. I have been thinking about doing something on the last Thursday. We've been meeting every Thursday at 7 a.m. and I've been thinking that it might be nice to do some sort of reflection at that time because it will be the 31st of December of 2020. And I'll let you know a little bit more as it comes through, but right now we'll still do the meditation at 7 a.m. and then I may do a reflections offering maybe like 30 minutes after, so we have time to have breakfast or something like that. Just think, it's a nice thing that I usually do at the end of the physical year, even though it doesn't always feel so much like the annual cycle to me. The season of Aries, generally springtime, makes me feel a little bit more connected to a new beginning with a year, but I still do a reflection just through the months, just to see, what happened, what went on, and I think reflection is a really healthy part of the healing experience. So that's something that I'll let you know more about, but we'll still do regular Thursday morning sitting and then possibly something else after that if you would like to join. So that's all for now. Much love. Bye bye.